Just Say Jam TV show number 152, action.
Direct. I just want to direct, like, nice
If
job.
only-
You opened the show today.
If only people knew what happened backstage, what happens backstage in the last like 60 seconds before the show. I'd love to see a series of clips of like things that happen,
I
and
just
usually
didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it today, but so David just got to say it.
but it's always
I was afraid to even speak. Ed, you
You didn't work that out, by the way.
I wish you would have, warned me or something. I just kind of I'm looking at this. I go, why am I looking at this? I'm just going to say it. I don't think
He's
I'm
like,
on air.
What is it? What?
Yeah, what is it? I'm just going to say it.
When you said it, you said action. I was saying action. You were just supposed to say Jam TV show.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I fucked it up.
No,
Can we do a retake? Oh,
retake.
I thought it was the best
You guys
start
doing?
ever.
No retakes. That's all right.
How are you
Now,
guys?
we're good. Now, I wanted to say, now, Will, I understand through Ed on our last broadcast, I believe you were under the weather a little bit with your voice or something.
Yes, I was.
Are you okay?
I've had this mysterious. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I have no idea, by the way. In answer to your question, I have this mysterious cough. It's not really mysterious, but there's don't really know what's triggering it, and it's everything from like it could be the trees around here, it could be the construction guys in front, it could be like the wood smoke from from the wildfires. My career as a wildfire fighter will be over, but anyway, Sunday morning I woke up and the cough was gone, and I was like, "Yay! I can be on Jam TV now." So
Good.
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
Unexpected.
That's good.
yeah. So it
Joe
just
Roman's
it
got a
came.
gig tonight. Where's he playing? I can't remember where he's playing. He's got a show
Bill?
tonight, and so he couldn't make it. But we're here. We're here, and outside right now, it is thundering. It is thundering. Listen,
What?
So if you suddenly like disappear,
I got my thunder machine.
I hear it.
I wonder if
Technically, it's a drum. See, it's like a drum.
Oh, look at that.
You don't see this?
yeah.
It's got like a
Oh,
like
you can tap it,
got a drum head, but then it's got a
Right.
spring
right?
that
And
comes
you
off
can.
the bottom, and you shake it.
Okay.
Right, but no, seriously, outside it has been
That's cool.
rumbling for the last, like, non-stop rumbling for the last half an hour.
It sounds like
Oh,
my
wow.
stomach. Yeah. I wonder what happens if you like your power goes out, like poof, does the
No,
whole
what
show
happens
disappear?
is I disappear, and you guys are
And-
there alone.
And
We
we're like,
don't
David, are we
plan
alone? Is it just
for
you?
this kind of thing, like training, like emergency training. It's
That's
like
right. Yeah.
MTV.
Oh my God! Look at that.
David, what are we going to do? Okay, first of all,
I-
let's close all the doors and windows.
Exactly. Look at that.
What
was
are you
funny.
even going to do? What are you going to do? Like, that's what would happen because you guys are connected to the server.
Okay.
And we've had people, you both know this, we've had people just go boink off the air. That's because there's something happened on their internet or something happened
Okay.
on their, that's happened to me before, but while somebody was playing, and I had to reboot my computer, and I had to like go on a cellular
Oh,
connection
wow.
once. And
Yeah.
one
Well,
time
I
I
guess
did the show going down 95 off my phone. Like I had to get from one place to another, like the Horseshoe to another place, the boat club, and I did the show in the car on the iPhone, but I've never been like just gone and then oh well, like everybody like what do we do?
Right.
now?
Well, Sherry
Yeah,
is Sherry is dialed into the show from the car. I remember that.
That's
It
right.
was like her from down below or up above or whatever.
Exactly. So
You know.
I don't know. We don't have, if we were like, a serious network show, then we would have plans for all that stuff.
That's
Well,
true. We'd have contingency plans.
Right,
Yep,
well, we get
that's
the
true.
backup generator started,
Yeah.
and you know,
What if there were a specter in the house? David, the monster is in the house.
yes,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, TV is coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my God. Yes.
cool. So yeah, it's been hot. You know, so I did
It
I
is
did a
hot.
funny thing the other day. Maybe I'll show a video. I got to load up a video, but I went skiing
Oh yeah. Yeah.
on my
Yes.
motorcycle.
It's like skiing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about it is I posted like 4 days ago, whatever it was. I said, boy, tomorrow's going to be a hot day. It's a bit of a setup. Tomorrow's going to be a hot day. So I think I'll take my motorcycle and go skiing. And everybody's like, oh, ha, ha, you're such a cut up. They're like, that's not even that funny. But yeah, that would be great, idiot. Right.
Idiot.
And right. And then the next day took my motorcycle, I put my skis on the back, and I rode down to near where the Meadowlands are in near Newark Airport, which the first part of the ride through the northern New Jersey hills is just beautiful. And then you get down to like the part of New Jersey that nobody likes.
Okay. Yeah. the
And,
smokestacks and
It
yeah.
was bad, you know, like the opening scene from The Sopranos. So he's driving through
Oh,
the
wow.
exhaust wheel, you know, like that's what I was doing on the bike
Mm.
with skis on the back. And people are like, hey, get out of the way, idiot. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so then there's a ski mountain, like an indoor ski mountain at the Meadowlands, near the Meadowlands.
Very cool.
And,
Very cool.
Yeah, so a friend of mine invited me. He's like, hey, you want to go skiing? I got a free pass. It expires, and you got to come and check it out. I'm like, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
And it was weird because it was 94 outside.
Mm.
And when I got inside, it was like 27 degrees.
Yeah.
It was
You had
cold.
to bring all these like warm clothes.
I brought a
in from-
parka and I brought a jacket. The problem is when you go skiing, are either of you skiers?
I used
no.
to be.
Oh, okay. Look at you.
Will, you?
I used to be. Yeah. Very avid skier.
There
Yeah.
you go. So
Wow.
you know, when you get off the lift at the top, you might be freezing your butt.
Mhm.
But then once you start going and you're skiing, then you warm up. Like it's athletic. So you warm
Mhm.
up and then you're okay, I'm like a little warm now. And then you get down to the lift and you have to unzip, even though it's freezing out,
Right.
you're still warm. There, you don't ever get a you don't ever there he goes.
Yeah, that's the
Telephone.
911 line. He's got to answer it. Yeah.
You don't ever warm up, you know. So like
Yeah.
the ski run itself is 35 seconds, you know.
Yeah. Oh, at this place.
Right.
This-
So
because
you
it's-
never warm up. You get off the lift at the top and
Yeah.
you ski as hard as you can, and you're there in 35 seconds. and then you're like, oh, I'm so cold. Then you sit on the lift. So it's basically New Jersey has figured out how to get you to sit in a meat locker for 2 hours and pay them money for it. That's
large meat locker. Yeah.
a large 180,000 square foot meat
Amazing.
locker.
That is, but you know, it's worth doing just so that you can say you did it. you know?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure how you got your ski parka on the motorcycle with your skis, but I'm not sure that I want to know.
It worked
You
great. Like
did that,
so,
yeah.
you know, I've got this bike that's got a lot of luggage, you know, like built-in suitcases, touring bike, you know. So the
Right.
boots, which are huge, the boots are like, you know, I'm
Right.
size 14 feet, so the boots are like giant. But you know, put them both in the back case with the coats and everything, and close the lid, and it closed, you know. So
Mm.
it was not bad. And then the skis sort of strapped on like where the passenger went. And
Mhm.
you didn't even really notice them, except when I went over this little bridge. They have this little bridge in my town that goes across the Delaware River into New Jersey, and it's family owned. It's like the bridge is made of wood and the structure is made of steel, and it's been around for 100 years or whatever. And the family owns it. I don't even know how that's legal, but the family owns it.
Right.
So there's brother Bill and brother Tom and mom, and they all stand out in the street. They're like $2, right? And you literally
Wow.
and the guy's like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm going skiing. He's like, you're not going skiing. You just bought those or something. I'm like, no, I'm going skiing right now. I highly recommend it, even if it's just as a novelty. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can go
just
sledding too. You can bring a tube and go sledding.
Okay.
oh my
Okay. That's
god.
cool.
It's weird
Yeah.
to be able to do that in summer.
Right.
Well, it's like I mean they have indoor, you know, water parks in the winter, so
Right,
why
They
not?
have one
Right.
there. They have a water park there. So,
Yeah.
but the other way around is kind of weird, you know.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
That's true. They have indoor water parks. What is skiing, but not a different kind of water park? Pretty wild.
Well,
So,
I remember.
Bear, you gonna do a song? Do a song.
I could do a
Open
song. I could do a song. I'll
Open
do.
us up. You are the guinea pig theater with featuring Will Bear tonight.
There you go.
Right. Didn't we used to call Bill the guinea pig theater?
Guinea pig theater.
All right. Well, this is a song by John Mayer called "My Camera." I decided to put the light right under the camera because I thought, oh, this will be really smart because I'll look really good.
Right,
I am so
right.
freaking blinded because I can't look at the
Oh,
camera without looking at the
okay.
light. So
Right.
I'm like, the song I'm going to do is called "Heart of Something."
Do you need to make an adjustment?
Probably, but I'm not quite sure how.
Okay.
While you're playing. Do it while you're playing. Yeah.
I'll just
Exactly.
like walk around, for a couple of days.
Wow.
Like, hi, I was in a gig last night.
It's like you got your pupils dilated at the
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly.
I've got sunglasses around here somewhere, but then they'll think that I'm like joining your band. So the Blues Brothers. So that wouldn't be
go
right.
for it.
Be inappropriate. So this is the Heart of Life. That's the name of it. I had the Heart of something or other, but anyway, here we go. Is so hard not to stare at that light. It's like staring at a headlight or something. Like a deer. I feel like a deer in the headlights. A musical deer.
Maybe you have
Beautiful.
to adjust it.
Thank you very much. I was thinking that was that if you go to what's it called? It starts with I'm suddenly spacing. It's where you can stream your stuff. You can put up anything. Sound.
YouTube.
No. No, this was before YouTube got hot.
MP3.com.
No, it's I'll think of it in a minute, but it sounds something or other.
No. where you can
Sounds
stream
like-
your stuff. I don't
I
know.
will have to. I'll have to
Well-
look this up. Anyway, if you look up the Baird Boys, you know what? Try googling the Baird Boys.
Yeah.
And you'll find me and my son, and
Oh, wow.
we used to sing and play together when he would come back from college. I would say, "Hey, let's record something," and that
Right.
became like a routine. And so that was the first song.
I'm
that we
surprised we're
recorded.
hearing about that the first time.
There's some beautiful stuff out there. The
But I
kid
have to
can-
go on some website that you don't even know the name of.
It sounds. I'll look it up while somebody's doing something. I'll look it up. I promise. But again, if you Google Baird Boys, the Baird Boys, you might find it because it's got enough hits now just organically, and also some of the songs are things like
What is the
Bible.
spelling?
SoundCloud?
But what'd you say, David?
On SoundCloud.
This-
SoundCloud.
Oh,
That's it.
oh,
That's it.
okay,
Congratulations.
Google the Bear
Okay,
Boys.
that's
On the
SoundCloud.
nose. Yeah.
Well, that's still
Yeah.
happening.
But
Yeah.
there's a version of Michigan by the Milk Carton Boys that Charlie does. It's just not my son. That just slays you. It's the saddest song you ever heard. Why would you want to listen
Check
to the
that
saddest
out.
song
I'm
you ever heard?
surprised this is the first time hearing of it.
Yeah, I've kept it a deep dark secret.
Right.
It's been a family secret
Oh,
for
that's
years.
great.
you know.
SoundCloud. So yeah, everybody go to SoundCloud, the Baird Boys, and check it out.
But it's fun. The Bridge Over Troubled Water is like amazing. It's he asked me to do. He said, "Okay, give me 6 tracks." Now it's 6 tracks. And he went, "Yeah, just give me 6 tracks, just blank, no music at all,
Okay.
as a break." And so I gave him 6, and he came up with 6 harmonies, 6-part harmony, and sang them all himself. And it's like, it's that part about Sail on Silverbird, just during Sound of Silence. Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Right.
No, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Sorry.
That's really cool.
Somebody give me a brain or something. It must be the cough syrup that did this to me. I don't know, or the lights. But anyway, Charlie had and has a spectacular voice, and sang really well. Sang in the Saint Olaf Choir. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Saint Olaf College.
Where's that?
But it's in Northland, Minnesota, which has its population like 600, not including the livestock. Well, except for the kids, the college kids. But it's Minnesota, so when you go drinking at a party, you don't let a friend go home alone, or they might wind up in the snow.
Right.
Found 2 days later.
Good
Right.
choirs up there because I used to sing in a European boys choir. You know the Vienna Boys Choir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
I
sang it?
used to sing in them, but there's a Swiss version of that
Mhm.
called the Institut Montana Boys Choir, and I used to sing in that choir. It's like it's a similar choir to the Vienna Boys Choir. I was an alto, right?
Mhm.
Like before my voice changed.
Mhm.
And the choir director, a guy named Francis Stockwell, was the choir director off and on for the Vienna Choir Boys and for us. And he, a world famous vocal music guy.
Mhm.
And he's still living. And he lives in Minnesota, and he directs the Land O'Lakes Choir, which has got to be up there. What's the Olaf? Is that it?
St. Olaf. Yeah.
I gotta look that up because I'm sure
Yeah.
they know each other.
They tour every year. I saw them at Carnegie Hall. It was like, wow. And the night before I saw them at the Battelle Chapel. It's this old chapel in Yale, really small, and they were really large. I mean, they sounded great. And downstairs in the basement, there's a point to this story, you'll like it. Downstairs in the basement, everybody's waiting, and it's like this grim old church basement. Everybody's waiting to go to the bathroom, and there's a group of these college kids, and they're all wearing like the robes, the choir robes. They're really ornate, beautiful, I'm talking to my son, and he's saying, "Dad, you're not supposed to be here. Get out of here." And I hear this little girl saying, "May I sing for you?" And I turned around, and there's 3 college girls standing there in their robes, and this little girl in this red flowered dress, who's just asked them, "May I sing for you?" And they all sort of go, "Oh, isn't that cute?" "Yes, sure." And the girl is maybe 8,
Right.
and she opens her mouth and she sings Ave Maria.
Ooh.
but like
it's
so
like-
good that you've never heard it so good.
What?
and it's like it just kicks ass.
Right.
And gradually, the people in the hallway, like it becomes more and more silent as people realize that there's something going on down there. They can hear this little girl's voice. It was very cool moment. Very cool moment. All in the basement of the Bethel Chapel.
Wow.
That's wild. There's something about that kind of music that's very interesting when you're 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, because I was in the boys choir. I was 10,
Mhm.
I guess I was 11. I was 11 and 12. But you can do it. Like your brain is so trainable that
Oh.
and that's where Francis Stockwell, the choir director that I had, was so famous, where he could from zero, you were not a choir singer at all, to performing in some of the biggest cathedrals in Europe in 4 months.
Yeah.
4 months of 3 times a week or whatever it was. I don't remember how often, but it was we were in school, so you had a lot of things to do. It was an extracurricular thing.
Yeah.
But he would whip these choirs into like world-class singers, because you have the instrument, you haven't been smoking, or you haven't ruined your voice yet, and he had techniques to teach you about breathing and teach you about voice and teach you about sight reading.
Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden you could do it, like learning a language. When you're that young, you can learn a language. I learned German in 3 months when I was 9, or in 2 months. We arrived in Austria when I was it was June 15th, and I started school in September, and I spoke German, and I didn't speak German in June.
Right.
So
Wow.
So if you're a kid, and his whole thing is
Right.
teach him how to breathe, teach him how to read, teach him how to listen. And he would do this stuff where, like, if there was a kid who wasn't quite cutting it, he would line up 10 kids in a row, like 10 of them. And he would play on the Steinway, amazing, like 100-foot long Steinway grand piano. And he would play a 10-note chord on the piano for like 2 seconds and lift the note off, and each boy would have to sing the note from where they were in line.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh my
And
God.
so we would start at that end, and the kid would go la, 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 and sing the chord. And if you couldn't do it, you're out. You're out of the choir.
Oh my God.
And for some reason, we could do it. Like we could do it. You could hear it. You could be like, got it. And then you hold that note and do it when you're supposed to.
That's the cool thing about kids, is if you tell them they can do something, they can do it.
Right.
you
You don't learn that you can't do it. You haven't learned yet that it's impossible, and your brain is in when you're 9, 10 years old, your brain is in peak tune. It can do anything. And these choir directors have figured this stuff out. So so that little girl, it doesn't surprise me to see young kids just nailing it.
It was I was like ready to
Right.
completely lose it. I mean, I was like, who's that man crying over the Charlie? Would be like, I don't know. That guy. My son would be like,
Your brain is not distracted. You don't have hormones yet. You don't have there's nothing distracting
you're not
you.
like checking out the
I'll go learn
girls.
this now.
Well, the weird thing about, I shouldn't say it, it's not weird, it's actually fascinating, is I'm watching it. We're in Carnegie Hall. I'm with my best friends up in like a box, and we're looking down, and my friend turns to me and says, "You notice that the women in the front are all holding hands?" And when you look really close, their robes are so big and long that you can barely see their hands. But if you look really closely, you can see they're holding hands. And it's like, that's interesting. And I tell Charlie afterwards, after I get done with the security, which that's a different story, but I tell him, the girls, they all hold hands while they're playing. He goes, yeah, the guys do too.
Wow,
and I'm
we
like,
didn't hold hands.
You guys all hold hands? He goes, yeah. And there's there's signals that you can send to the guys around you about what's happening. You can pass
No, we
signals
didn't do
down
any
the
of
line.
that. That's wild. So in other words, you're sending cues to each other and saying tempos and
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they were like, "You're off key, man. You're sharp. You're sharp." and it's wild. I mean, it's not like any choir I've ever heard of. You know,
That's wild.
so
I
they
gotta
did
go
some
out
pretty
to.
neat stuff.
I gotta go out to Land O'Lakes, Minneapolis, wherever the heck it is.
That is the. I mean, that is the land of. I was in a bar when I was visiting, and there's two guys next to me who are locals, and they're both talking. And I get into a conversation with them, and one of them was talking about his vacation house, and I go, "Really? Now, so you got a home here, in Northland?" He goes, "Oh yeah, and." And I say, and where's the lake house? And he says, "Oh, it's about 5 miles away." And I'm like, "You have a vacation house that's 5 miles away?" He's like, "Yeah, I mean, it's a lake. Everybody's got houses that are around here on the
Right.
lake." It's like,
Right.
why don't you just live on the fucking lake? So, that's the way it is.
And that's up in Land O'Lakes in Minnesota.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
He said his favorite moment was he would drive friends out onto the ice, like a mile or two onto the ice before they would cut open, and the friends would always be scared to get out of the pickup truck.
Yeah, but it's like 8 feet thick, so
Exactly. And they'd always
nobody's
be
going
like,
through the
I
ice.
don't know if it's safe out there. And he'd be like, we just drove through the fucking
Right.
8 feet of, if it can hold the pickup truck, I think
Right.
you're going to be
Right.
okay. So these guys had interesting stories to tell. Very interesting.
Wow,
stories.
that's really cool. Yeah, choirs, very cool. So do another one for us, would you, Bill?
All right. How about this one's about all seasons. Once again, I'm trying to look at the iPhone after staring at the. I may actually take you up on your offer and move that thing.
We may have to do that next. We'll do a video next, and you could do that.
There you go. There you go.
This one's very appropriate. It's "Help" by the Beatles.
Oh,
Very appropriate to my moment here.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Help me help.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
You know, it was just funny. I said I was going to play a video, and then I thought, oh, like, I'm going to look through the cart. So I got like on that side of the screen, I've got a strip that scrolls, and I got a little scrolly thing on my mouse, and I go and go down this list. It's like they used to call it in the business, used to call it a cart, right? Like a cartridge machine for video or for on radio. They have those too.
Oh, yeah,
Like if you want to play something, you'd push a button and it would load the video up, and then you could hit play. Like it would literally load the video tape in, or the audio tape. And so I was looking over and I saw Mario Orlando. Remember Mario Orlando?
Oh yeah.
He used to come on the show.
Of course.
And then he came on the show over the winter at some point and announced that he had cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
He was, I don't remember what kind of cancer, but he's, he got a fight ahead of him.
Yeah, it was something bad.
And nothing more daunting than that. And he played a song on the show, and I've got a recording of that. So if you want to adjust your light, maybe I'll play Mario Orlando a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? You want to see Mario play a song?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just sent him a text too. I'm like, I'm going to play your song. I just noticed it in the cart, and I hope you're doing okay. So hopefully I'll hear back from him. But here is Mario Orlando. Check. If you don't know this guy, check this guy out. So he was a thing back in the day. He's older than me. He's older than all of us. And he was a thing in Greenwich, Connecticut. Like, do you remember him from back in the day, David?
Yes, I played in the band with him.
Oh, you played in a band with him. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
So he he was a thing apparently. Bill Noman's like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be Mario Orlando. Like everybody wanted to be Mario Orlando. And he moved to Europe and became a thing in Europe, like touring around and playing on records, and became a very accomplished guitar player. And he does something that I think is great. Like he's like, I don't want to pay the band. I don't want to have a 7-piece band, let alone a 4-piece band, let alone so what he would do, he'd work with a drummer. I don't know how many people were in the band that you played with him, David.
Oh my God.
I was in 3 and
I think we got 5.
You got 5. Okay. Because eventually he was like, not doing that. I'm going to hire a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play guitar. I'm going to sing, and I'm going to play bass on my guitar while I'm doing it. And so he developed his own way to string and tune an electric guitar so that the top string and 1 or 2 were bass strings. And he had the whole guitar redone so that you could do this. And I think he would run it out into 2 separate amps and play bass with the top string. And if you listen carefully to him playing, you're like, I think I hear 3 instruments there, and then his voice was there. So
and he's just playing away. I remember hearing him play on the show. Didn't he play live on the show? Yeah, I thought so.
And you're like, can I hear a backing track? Like, I thought I heard a piano.
Exactly.
I heard horns.
Like, how was he doing that?
Like it's one of those things. So here we go. So adjust your light. We'll know what's really going on up in Massachusetts. And here it is, Mario Orlando. Check it out.
Mario.
Man, oh man, doesn't that make you want to play with him?
Wow.
Well, I used to.
It's like-
Back in the
oh,
day.
that's right. You were
He's
saying you
playing
played with
it,
him.
then it's
Yeah.
like
Back in
he
the
takes
day.
it off into a crazy direction with all kinds of cool
Yeah.
chords.
That's just wild. I mean, it sounds
No.
when I tuned back in after I was fiddling with my lights, I was like, this
Yeah.
sounds like a whole band. Where's the band?
Right.
He's got a backing
Right.
track. He's definitely got a backing
Right.
track. You know, no backing track.
No
you know.
backing
You look
track.
much better.
So, Will, you got to work on it. You got to like learn to
Yeah.
play an entire backing track with your
Yeah, the whole
fingers.
thing. Yeah, yeah. Well, there was a guy on the folk circuit. I got a tune of his named Bill Staines. I think he just passed away, but I opened for him a whole ton of times, and he played left-handed,
Yeah.
but with a right-handed guitar.
Yeah.
So he would just flip it, and then on top of that, yeah. So you had that going on, and then secondly, he taught himself to play. So he it was like James Taylor. He decided he just figured out chords, his own fingering for what a C chord would be. You
Right.
know? So you'd go and you'd try to figure out what this guy was doing, and it's just like no way. And then on top of that, he yodeled.
Oh, it's
Now,
great.
That's how
Brother
to get
could
it.
yodel.
Yeah. Eventually he established a no yodeling rule, but up until a certain age he yodeled. So he was a very cool guy. He's Bill Staines. He
really
traveled everywhere. I'm not even sure that he had a home. I think all he did was gig everywhere. All over the country.
I think that's great. I often think that that's the move. Take the jam van, load it up. And like lately, I've actually been, the pandemic was good for me in one way, is that it connected me back to my love of weird little noise making machines. So lately I've been rocking out on this guy, which is a customized little calculator looking thing, which is a full-fledged Groovebox recording studio. Maybe I'll figure out how to hook it up and play something on it. But I've been rocking out on that. And then this is my latest thing that I've been into is this thing. It's the keys are actually made of maple, right? It's like these maple.
Oh my God, they're made of wood. Wow,
keyboard, right?
that's
It's a
wild.
2-octave keyboard, and it's got 4 knobs and the other 2, and it's got a little screen, right?
Yeah.
It's actually a. You ever heard of a Raspberry Pi computer? It's a little tiny computer inside here, like a IBM PC type computer.
Wow.
And what they did was they open sourced how this thing works. So it comes from the manufacturer. It comes with a bunch of they're literally handmade. They're put together in Brooklyn, New York. They're handmade. And they're programmed, and there's an open source language. It's got a little HDMI connector on the back. See that?
Oh, check
Oh,
that
wow,
out.
cool.
So you can hook that
Yeah.
to your TV,
Oh my
Right,
God.
right.
and you can hook up a mouse and a keyboard to it. And
Okay.
there's a programming environment where you can program in a very simple way. You can program it in this object-oriented programming environment. And so what happens is, because it's all open source, it's not like proprietary
Right,
copyright design.
Mhm.
that,
Better Bolton.
the community of people that have these weirdo things are like, I'm going to be famous in this community. I'm going to write like 10 different patches for it. And so they write really, so you go on the internet and you look it up, and the guy says, oh, get this one. It's a 8-track sequencer with a MIDI and audio recording with an effects section. And it's loaded up with these crazy samples, and it's designed so that the interface of it is weird. Like it's this weirdo interface that's not a full keyboard. You can hook it up to stuff, but and the idea is that you could create this sort of magical music out of this odd looking little machine.
Okay.
And then they share that with the world. So it's like this community of weirdos that like electronic music. So there's that, and then I've got my more traditional samplers, like something like.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, that
Right,
looks
you
like
go.
an instrument.
That's more like a traditional.
Actually-
It's using the
Actually,
keys and
it's
stuff.
chord. Yeah.
But
This
But
thing,
some of the, I just like when I wonder, like, how do you get through customs when you travel? I mean,
I've got some that literally look like bombs, and they look.
yeah,
At
I mean, that first one you showed.
So
was
like this one is very, very simple compared to this one. This one, because
Okay.
it's a computer, because it's software, is immensely complicated. And you could spend your life like that could be your only instrument, and you could gig with it. And I've often thought about like taking a suitcase, taking like a little DJ rig of like all these little contraptions, and taking them out on the road, and like stop at a town and go to a park and swing the doors of the jam van open and have a subwoofer in there and a little PA system mounted to the doors and play the music and put out a hat. Like I thought that'd be a great way to see the country.
You could hit every college in the country. You would, nobody's going to throw you out. Everybody's going to think it's hip and cool.
Right,
you can have an educational component
all
to it.
Colored, all painted up and everything, and then you literally open the doors and the PA is like built in.
Right. Yeah. Speakers
slides out, and you just do electronic music, and you can make it. What I like about that, first of all, like I'm an unlikely character to be doing that because I'm an old guy, because I'm 60, 59-year-old guy. And that, you expect the DJ culture to be much, much younger, but we invented. Not even us. Like it was the generation before mine that invented the Moog synthesizer and the Buchla and the, all the famous, Emerson, Lake and Palmer were some of the best synthesizer music there was, and they were doing it in the 60s.
Eliza Schlesinger, this young woman she's a comic and an art actor and also an art author, and she writes, "Hey Dennis." And she writes about fashion in her book. She talks about how fashion is cyclical, and she wants to like tell the snarky little 15-year-old girl, that hey, I wore that when I was your age. There's nothing new about that. That shit, I started that shit.
That's right. Like this image that the old folks are like Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies or Granny from Tweety Bird. It's like that's not the world anymore. So I'll never forget one of the greatest compliments that anybody ever gave me, and they didn't know they were giving me a compliment, was I was at a music store, and every once in a while I'll go to a music store like a Sam Ash or a Guitar Center or whatnot. And I'll go in and I just want to see what they're selling the general public for keyboards, and they got a big room full of a lot of stuff, and they're trying to sell like junk to the parents for their kids, $2,000. Like, come on, your kid doesn't need that. And then they're trying to sell professionals like, oh, this is a $7,000 workstation that does all this, and don't buy that. It's gross. Don't buy it. So I want to do that. So they had some knockoff. This is before they got good. Now the Hammond organ knockoffs are really good. But this is before they were really good. They were pretty good. Korg had one, and there were some other ones. And I started playing the Hammond organ, and that's what I kind of do. And the kid comes up and he goes, wow, you're like an old time Hammond organ dude. Like, that's what he said. That's how he said it. He's like, you're like an old time Hammond organ dude. And I was like 45,
That's right.
Where's your wheelchair?
Exactly.
Years ago.
To him, like, I remember in high school, there was a teacher that came back to teach at my high school. Like, he went to the high school that he came back to teach. And he was one of my teachers, a math teacher, I guess, Mr. McQuinney, right? And Mr. McQuinney was like, he was old. Like, we were 15 and he was this old guy. And we're like, wow, what was the school like?
65.
School here, like, was it the same or was it different? He was 24.
Yeah.
He was 24, and we were like, "Oh, you're an old dude." He was like, "I was here like 8 years
because of what
ago."
He was playing. Is that right? Oh my God,
6 years ago. So anyway, to this kid, I was freaking Ray Charles or something, like this old guy with some really gray hair happening, playing Hammond organ. So I could be the old guy sitting over my like really play it up, like really like old, like decrepit, and like come out and then like turn the knobs like I'm a DJ
or something
real slow, and then all of a sudden, boom! It's
right,
like,
that's right,
amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you pulled it off in some of the college areas, you could probably get somebody to come up and rap for you.
That's it. That's the move.
Yeah.
I love that. You're famous. You're old. You've done you're the original dude. Right. When I was in New York at like the Stardust Diner, and who did it was a father-daughter thing where she did a tribute to her father where she sang with him in a video.
Yes.
Who was that? I've forgotten.
That's Natalie Cole.
Natalie Cole
Yeah.
and
Yep.
and her
With,
dad.
with,
Nat
Nat,
King.
with her father,
Yeah.
Nat King Cole. Yes,
So
sir.
I'm with my friend, and he goes, you know who that is? You know who that is? That's Nat King Cole, and I'm like, something seems wrong about this, but I'm going like, okay, and he says when we're leaving, he likes to like check out everybody, so he walks up and says, hey, I really like that video that you did with your daughter, and he says, that was Nat King Cole. He's dead. I'm Lou
Right.
Rawls.
Right, right.
My friend was like, oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Have
That's
a
right.
nice
That's
day.
right. But you can ride it. You know what? It's like you get to a certain age. It's not that old. You get to a certain not that old age, and you've got some stories.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
something. Like I
Yeah.
directed a Public Enemy video. Like
Mhm.
Public Enemy. And so I
Mhm.
tell my students they don't know who the Beatles are, but they know who Public Enemy
Yeah.
is.
Public
Oh, yeah.
Enemy. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And so when I say I worked for Public Enemy, they're like, "Oh, you work for
Oh,
like, back
right.
in the day." I'm like, back in the day? Like, what does that mean? Like, I was like out of college and they needed a guy
Right.
to work on a thing, So
Oh my God.
yeah, I'm wondering, like, I could be that guy. I could be that, like, that could be my retirement plan. Get like the jam van and maybe a little pole camper and just travel across America. Do jam TV and be like the DJ, the old guy DJ. That could be the move.
Yeah.
But then,
Not
wouldn't you-
DJing like turning records. I'm talking about like
Yeah,
playing
with the
unusual
gadgets.
instruments. And,
Yeah. electronic,
Well,
like
sometimes
EDM,
during the
like,
year you could do Jam TV live outside while you're doing your DJ part too.
yeah.
Brother Dennis, I
Yo.
want to say this. I said it on Facebook. I'm late to the Jam TV. I thank Ed all the time for
You've only been on
inviting me.
100 shows.
and bringing me in. No, I thank you. I didn't know your struggle.
Yeah, it was a rough year.
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know about your struggle with COVID.
Mhm.
So when I saw what Sherry posted, I said, "Damn."
I didn't see what Cherry posted, but,
Well, no,
but
she
damn
posted-
is right. Yeah.
Well, Dennis was playing bass, and then Dennis explained to me. I guess
Right.
it's been a minute.
Yeah, Dennis
Yeah.
got hit by a bus by COVID. Like, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. January 1st.
Oh my God.
2022.
And I remember, Dennis, when you like showed up at the other end of that episode that went on and on and on and hospital stay, whatever. And you got to the end of it, and it's the first moment that like I wasn't worried about you anymore. Like I'm like, oh my God, he's he's okay now, right? He's good. And I said something like, "Wow, we were really worried about you." And he was like, "Really?" And you
know,
said
right?
something like, "It dawned on you that like, oh, like was it bad?" Because he was
was
sleeping in the
bad.
hospital,
Right. Yeah, they're all acting like I could have died from this or something. To me, it was just like, no, I have to go through this procedure, and then I'm doing this, and one's foot in front of the other until we got out the other end.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm
Well,
so
that
sorry
took a
you went
toll
through
on me.
that.
It's been
Yes.
over a year since I got out.
Wow.
Wow.
Went to the
That's,
hospital January 1st, in and out a few times, got out the first part of June.
We all forget that,
Wow.
it's still out there. It's like every now and
Yes,
then
it is.
I'll
Yes,
meet
it
someone
is.
like you, yeah. And that it's not just like I'm asymptomatic and, my family got it, but we're all okay. That some of us get really sick from this shit,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry you went
And,
through that.
every once in a while, I know you guys have this same experience. Every once in a while, you run into someone, and I'm not being political here. I'm not being like, oh, those idiot Republicans. I'm not being like that, right? So, you run into someone who's like, they still believe it's a hoax. Like they still, they're like, see, it's
Right.
and now Pfizer, those crooks, and like saying, okay, but what happened to me, my experience with COVID, I didn't get COVID. I was living up in the mountains with the animals in the woods,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't get
That's
COVID.
right. Yeah, you
literally.
only get it from the cats. Yeah.
Right, like I did not give myself the opportunity to get it at all. And but my experience with COVID, there was a guy who used to come to the gigs, Mark Haddad. He used to come to the jams at Cobb's Mill Inn before anybody's time. A guitar player, a super nice guy, and he played in a band that played at the showcase that I did. and he early on, like he got it in April, like it came out in March, and he got it in
March.
April or in the end of March, like it was right away.
Mhm.
And it went from, so this is the first thing that I've heard about COVID, except like on TV. And when you saw it on TV, you were like, oh, it's like, oh, Ebola, oh, it's so dangerous. But it's like, I was never near anybody who had Ebola, and I never took it seriously, and not personally. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I know somebody's really sick, but it's not coming to my house, right?
Right.
And so it was already in that phase. Like, all right, so we're gonna have to wipe the tables down at Bobby Q's, and then go do the jam in 2 weeks, and we'll have to be careful. Maybe
Everything
we'll
will be
wash our
okay.
hands a lot, right? And then Mark went to the hospital. From the first time he felt a symptom, like a cough in his lungs, his wife took him to the hospital. He was dead 2 hours later. 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know his medical situation or what happened with him, but that was my first story. I was like, it got my attention. I went, okay, whatever this is, it's not nothing, right?
Yeah.
And then my friend Ross in Colorado had a battle with it. You had a battle with it. A couple other friends of mine had it, but they didn't have it with complications. And so I look at it like, okay, I avoided it. You know, I got all the shots and everything. I avoided it somehow, but it is for real. And so I feel a little, and I tell people, I'm like, well, I have friends who died or almost died.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
And it feels like a dream now. Like it.
Yeah.
feels
Right.
like
That whole, like 2 years ago.
It actually happened.
Well, my whole episode was a dream from the time I got out, because I don't remember a lot of what was going on back there. I do remember Shanna dropped me off at the hospital in the emergency room, and she couldn't come in, so I walked in the door and says, I'm having a hard time breathing. They put me in a wheelchair. And then a couple weeks later, I was talking to Shanna again. I mean, just kind of, we were out of it. Then when they put you on a ventilator and stuff, they knock you out. So very few dreams, nothing. You know, just
so you wake up like several months later, you know, after a few episodes of it, whatever, and you're like, all right, now what happened? Like, what was that?
Yeah.
It's got to be a weird feeling to have just a couple of months black.
COVID set me off. That that about got me, but then it turned around and created a snowball effect. Then I got blood clots in my lungs, and then pneumonia, then a bladder infection, then more blood clots, and just
because your body is going, I can't keep doing this. Like, you got to stop getting sick.
It just took the next weakest link.
Wow. It's amazing, because you think of it the other way around. You think of it as like people with pre-existing medical conditions are at greater risk. But the flip side of it is true as well. If you get it, you're at greater risk of getting other medical conditions that are sort of related to it, like pulmonary embolisms or some of the stuff that you're describing. It's like
the blood clots, they say a lot of people get those.
Right. People do talk about this now. They do, but they're only talking about it because it's politics now. You know, there's an election cycle coming up. So they're like, oh, they mishandled this and they mishandled that, and whatever it is, right? But it is still out there. It's, but it does feel a little bit like a dream. Like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't get it until after the official lockdown was finished. Because it started March 2021. I got it January 2020 of 2022.
2020 it was.
2020.
3.5 years ago. Crazy.
So Dennis, how you feeling now?
Overall, I'm doing pretty good. I'm still weak, still learning new things.
But you're playing. Where were you playing? Where were you playing? What's going on with that?
Down at Club London. It was jam night, open mic night.
Right.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, they had a good crowd.
Dennis, I wish there was some audio, some video clip of that. It was just a still picture, Ed and Will, but he looked good, and I guess you played a few songs, I guess, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, the full set. So what's that, like 40 minutes, something like that?
Was this acoustic singing? Like, so what kind of music?
It's supposed to be acoustic. Yeah, I was with Chris Mahoney for Tin Sandwich. So it was blues. He does a lot of Grateful Dead and stuff like that.
Did you use flat wound or round wound guitars?
I did not.
I heard about this conversation.
That's it.
Yeah, DR strings, DR blues.
Well, we're gonna have to play. We're gonna have to play before too long, Dennis.
Wow.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's cool.
If the weather forecast for tomorrow, what's that, Dennis?
So it was fun to get out finally.
I know.
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
Tomorrow, I am supposedly playing in Greenwich on Greenwich Avenue at the park at what's that park? Commons Park or right on Greenwich Avenue at the bottom of the avenue.
The bottom.
With the
can't
Sound
remember.
Cats. I'm like an unofficial member of that band now, but the forecast is hail and lightning. So
yeah, that could be. Yeah,
we'll find out. But we go on like 5 to 7. I think it's like an evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're not in California and you feel like coming to see the music and it's not hailing,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know. I can't. I'll tell you. Yeah.
I'll live stream it for you, David. I'll put it on live stream.
Please give me. I love seeing the video clips and stuff.
I'll do. I watched one of your live streams today.
I hope one day I can get back there and jam with you guys.
I would love that.
Yeah. Come back.
I got a drum set for you. I'm the non-drummer that has way too many drum sets in my life. I've got the original set from the Jams, that Ludwig set, which is a great sounding set. Like that's a great set. I've got that at the school. Some of my students are banging on it. And then Pat Padula. Remember Pat Padula?
Oh yeah.
Pat Padula gave me all his drums when he passed away.
Wow.
And it was weird. Like, so he had a conversation with me. He was sick. He was fighting cancer and he was sick.
Okay.
And he would come to my jams religiously, like every week. And he would play. And what was actually wild is that Steve Wexler was also struggling with cancer, like with his 3rd round of pancreatic cancer. He was really struggling. But he moved right across the street from Bobby Q's. Literally, he could look out his window into Bobby Q's right across the street where I have my jam. And if he felt well enough, he would come over and he would play. And he would say to me, he'd be like acting all bravado, like, the big swinging dick that he was, right? And he'd be like, hey, everybody, I'm here to play. I'm here to rock on the drums, right? And he would come to me and he'd go, I don't think I can make it through one song. Like, I want to play, but I don't think I can make it. So have another drummer sitting next to me so that he can take over if I can't make it. Right. A week if he gets winded or whatever.
That's smart.
And so Pat Padula, who was also fighting cancer, Pat Padula would sit on the end of the bar there, and if Steve would be like, can't do it. And stay with the drums, right? And Pat would sneak in and not miss a beat. They'd both be banging on the drums.
Just slip right in,
And Pat was like a Steve Wexler, stunt drummer. And Pat didn't make it in the end either. Wow. And he gave me 3 drum sets worth of drums, and I don't have the heart to sell them. Like I've got them out here in PA. They're out on my porch, with a blanket over them.
Right.
That's all my drums.
Yeah, I know
Pat
he loved going to the jam nights.
Yeah, he loved it. He was totally into the playing and coming to jam and all that.
And Pat was, he was in the community here, like, right up until very late in the game. And even on my show at the time, the Will's Place, he was on there and like writing really encouraging things and, stuff.
Sure.
Just great stuff. And when he passed away, it was like a week after the last time I had seen him online. It was amazing.
Very, very, very sad. But so I got all his drums. So if anybody wants to buy some drums, like it's all good stuff. Like it's all pretty decent stuff. So, but I just don't have the heart. Like I just can't. I can't bring myself to sell them, and like I have no use for them. But I'm gonna,
understand
money to good use.
Understand.
Yep. Well, and when someone brings you something or gives you something that was really theirs that they played, it's awfully hard to like give away or sell. Or my sister has 1 million banjos that people have brought to her to say, my father played banjo and this was his, and I don't know what to do with it. Will you? And Faye kind of goes, okay.
No, I'm an accordion hoarder. Okay, like every accordion I've ever bought, I have. They're all here.
Sure, they're like.
I literally have an accordion in my bed. There's like, so I've got a big bed, queen size bed. I don't need that much bed, and I play it sometimes. So I have this red Hohner accordion. All accordions, like most musical instruments, they have a story behind them. This accordion I bought from a guy who lived somewhere near Bethel Woods, like up, like where Woodstock was about 45 minutes from here in Pennsylvania. And I bought it from him, and he was an Argentinian Jew who emigrated to Israel when Israel was young, right? A long time ago, right? And he played one of his duties, in addition to being in the army, is he was the accordion player in an Israeli army band. And he brought this accordion. So this is a Hohner accordion, a German accordion made in Switzerland. Like, I don't even get that. Like, I didn't know they made Hohners in Switzerland. So it says made in Switzerland. It's a Hohner. It's red. It's a nice little instrument. And in like the 40s, he flew to Israel and he played in this army band with the accordion. And then he moved back to Argentina and took it with him. And then he moved to New York City and emigrated to America, and he played in New York City for years, and then he retired out here somewhere. And then he's like, I don't have room for this old accordion. I'm like, what? You can't sell your heirloom accordion with that amazing story? He's like, I don't use it. I don't want it anymore. And sold it to me for like $100, So I literally have it. I play it once in a while. I literally have it in my bed. Like it's next to my pillow because I don't want to unpack it and repack it, unpack it and repack it,
Right.
But I've got accordions, like there's a shelf outside here. And I got a shed with accordions. But I'm not a drum hoarder. I'm an accordion hoarder, but I'm not a drum hoarder. I just have drums.
David, on the other hand.
I am. Dennis, I tell you,
for drums,
yes, I know. I'm addicted, and I don't know what to say.
If you get a little joy out of it, have it, do it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to be here much longer. You know what I'm talking about?
There you go.
I'm just saying, life is too short, guys.
Right. This thing here, this is a Volca sample. It's a little sampler, right? And for months, because I'm a very frugal person, right? I'm a musician. I got no money, right? So I'm a frugal person, and I don't blow my money on going and eating out. Like, I'll buy a motorcycle once a year, or I'll buy, I'll do something like I'll save my pennies, or whatever. And I was like, do I really need this? I'm like, of course, the internet is like, you want this? You want
yeah.
Of course.
It's only $69.
Of course.
Yeah.
Your acquisition syndrome.
Right. And so they send me ads for this for like a year. And I'm like, no, I don't need it. I have samplers. I have a computer. I don't need it. I don't need it. It was $109. That's all it is. It's for kids, right? So I'm like, nope, I'm not going to spend the $100. And then finally I went, I got $109. I'm getting it. And I'm going to keep it on my desk because I plug it in and I can have a little joy out of it. It's worth way more than $109.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And then the minute I unpack it and I review it, they're like, now you need this one. This one.
Right.
Look, it's gold colored. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Exactly.
Version 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad, And then you're like, oh, well, I need a case. I got 4 Volcas, so I got to get a suitcase. I got to put them in the suitcase. And then I got to then I got my spice rack over here. That's my rack synthesizers. Then I got my micro modulars in this closet over here. And then I got my desk because I'm a hoarder. I'm officially a hoarder.
It
gives you joy.
Will, you can always pick up bags down there.
Here it is.
Suitcases and stuff.
That's what I do. I go to Goodwill and buy bags and little suitcases. And I now I'm a bag hoarder. So I've got like, I went and bought, like, I swear to God, right? I see like a case, like a wooden case or like a little suitcase. I have one of those Pelican cases. You know what those are for, like camera gear and whatever.
Right.
Like foam on the inside. Like you could throw it out of a plane at 50,000.
Exactly.
And I have that, but I don't have anything in it. I'm like, that would be too much of a commitment to, like, I can't put my Volcas in it. Like, I got to wait for something amazing to put in that case because the case is amazing. I don't know what's the matter with me.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, I've got my real musical instruments. I got my Hammond organ and my pianos and stuff. And I can make money with those. I can go and play in the street with,
you could be
the
doing stuff
Soundcats tomorrow, and they'll give me my $100 or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, but then I've already spent the $100 on one of these.
Right.
Sorry,
every week another instrument.
$100.09.
Oh,
right, exactly. You know, it's like, yeah, gas, whatever. I would have spent the gas anyway, so I'll sink it back in, like I'm reinvesting my winnings. You know, it's like, no, you're never gonna get ahead of that game.
No.
This is true.
Probably why I haven't bought anything.
Save us from our hoarder selves.
exactly.
Yeah. Am I saving you? Is that?
Yes, you're saving us. You're saving us all.
You changed your life. Yeah. Play a song.
Yes.
All right. Ed, you and I had a conversation like a year ago. It was like it was back when you were talking about how we're going to go to show 88, you know.
Oh my God.
And it was like show like 70. And I was saying, so what's your plan? You know, and you're going, what do you mean? What's the plan? And
I was ready to quit. I was like already putting it on the air. I was like, you know what? COVID's kind of over. It wasn't over yet, but it's like kind of over. And, you know, we used to have 4-hour shows and we have 35 people on the shows, and Dennis would be making music videos and I'd be making music videos with Mike, and we'd have like 50 people, and you couldn't get in the studio. You're like people banging on the studio. Like, you only have 10 people on at a time. We have like 50 people on the show and everything. And I was like, now it's only like 15 of us, you know, on the show. And Bill Noman and Randy Stone, Dr. No, he came on the
Dr.
show.
No.
Yeah, Dr. No. You know, Bill Noman's like, I wonder if I could, you know, like incorporate an effects pedal. And he's like, yeah, it sounds like ass, you know.
Oh my gosh.
And so Randy Stone was like, no, you can't stop Jam TV. No, that's the only lifeline. I'm like, really? Like you still feel that way?
Yeah.
And so Jam TV for me now, it's like 152 shows. We're doing like 90-minute shows or 2 hours. Summer anyway. Like everybody's got stuff to do. But you know, it rains for 3 days and I got 10 people on the show. And winter comes and there's 15 people on the show and everybody's playing something and doing something. It's if we've got 2 people on the show, I'm happy to do the show, and you know, we'll see what it turns into in the future. Why would we stop after 152?
That is well put, and it fits with what you said a year and a half ago when I was saying, well, you know, I mean, you got to think about like what you're going to do with this. I mean, you got this thing, and you were saying, no. It's about community. Yeah, it's about community. It's about building a community. You know, that's all. That's what it's about, and that's why I'm going to keep doing it, is to build a community and keep the community. You know?
Right. I got people that watch this religiously. Not a lot, like, you know, like there might be 10 people watching right now, but then there's another couple hundred that watch it, you know, or several hundred that watch it after the fact. And then the algorithm is weird. Like the algorithm, we used to get like 2,000 people watching the show back during the pandemic when everybody had nothing else to do. Yeah. And so, you know, you've got the algorithm will once in a while hiccup and I'll get like 300 or 400 hits on a random week. And it's like, you know, I know nobody's watching the whole thing. Maybe they just scroll through and they check out a few things. But you know, there's fan mail. There's people in Asia. There's a lot of people in Thailand that love the show that I'm in touch with. I like send them the links to it, you know, every time we do it. And a lot of people watch on YouTube, not Facebook. So it's just, if it gives anybody a little joy, I know it gives me some joy.
Right. There
Might
you
as well
go.
do it. Might as well have fun.
Yep. No, it's really true.
And Will, they love you.
They love you.
They love you, Will. That's what I heard from Ed.
It's just
I'm telling
it's
you.
just my shirt. It's a shirt. That's
It's
all.
all.
No, I already had somebody wrote. One of our fans just wrote a note on one of the threads that, oh, Will Baird and you are wearing the same style shirt. I'm like, what? It's 10,000 miles away. It's like, oh yeah, they caught the memo.
Well, let's see. There was something I was going to say, but I don't remember. But
Play a song, and then I just saw Dave Gunnup sort of sneaking in the back door, so we'll bring him on after the song.
This tune is about loyalty. It's about love. It's about never letting go of someone or something.
All right.
And it's Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones. And I forgot to turn off the click track, which is what the sound is.
I thought it was a guy with a clave like behind you, like. It's like that guy.
Very nice.
Consistent.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Speaking
love
of
that.
consistent, here he is, Dave Gunnup.
Dave is tuning up. He's getting ready.
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
You look like you're where I was the other day, skiing in the Meadowlands in an indoor ski area. Like, you know.
Let me tell you why I'm so pissed off.
What?
Well, just for the moment.
Today's version.
Well, yeah. Before this idiot stuff happened.
What stuff?
You mean my song, or?
No, a tuner. I mean, like an automatic tuner.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that.
used to think I had perfect pitch, or at least relative pitch.
Right.
You get a tuning
And I
fork or tuning torque.
You don't anymore. You did at one point, probably. I heard if you have perfect pitch as a kid, you lose it eventually.
I have perfect pitch vocally. I do not have perfect pitch listening to notes. So
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
I was listening. Hey, man, you sounded great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
This gentleman over here with the island shirt on.
Oh, me. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
Jeez.
As Ed will tell you, or some of you who know me, I'm a storyteller.
it. Yes, you are.
I wrote a book that recently got accepted, well, sort of accepted, by HarperCollins. And
Wow.
Wow.
It's going out of business. So this didn't go well for me at all. But I wrote a book for my grandchildren
Right.
because they're 7 and 3,
Yeah.
and I'm not. And
Right.
there's going to come a time when I'm gone, and they're not going to know anything that me as a child did, and then me as my wife and I did, and Danny as part of Sister Son. We led a very interesting life. We had a very, very unique time. So it became important. So I wrote it down.
That's cool.
I wrote it for them. So it's a G-rated version of my life.
Right.
Just so we're clear, Ed.
I want to
So
hear
it's
the.
4 pages long, is what you're saying, right?
I want to hear
No,
the,
it's long, but it's filled with stories that are G-rated. It's the only way.
Right.
I want to hear the RMA or whatever the mature audience.
Hold on,
version
here
is.
you go. So this editor from HarperCollins, to get to HarperCollins, you have to have a literary agent of your own, which I have, who contacts the literary agent that is acceptable to HarperCollins, who goes to the editor.
Yeah, right.
All comes back to me saying, we want to buy the book. They made me an offer.
Right.
And I went, this is never going to fly because it's too short. You know, it's 58 stories. And if it was any more, I mean, I've got a million stories.
A lot of stories.
In this format for my let's keep in mind my grandchildren.
These are the G-rated.
It's
Simple.
too short. It's a novella at best.
Right.
So they send me a letter saying, we have decided to not accept your book.
No.
And I went, okay. However, we believe it is a very good candidate for a television series.
All right.
Which makes a whole lot more sense to me because the stories are disjointed. You know, I mean, they're just stories. I mean, I was freelancing writing, and they said it's a story. It's a Netflix series,
Okay.
and I said, okay. It's a story of a family that goes from New England to the Caribbean every year, and they bring their children up, and this is all true.
Right.
But and the children sing with them. It's like a black or dark Partridge Family, if you will.
Okay.
And I said, that's great. You know, that sounds good. So it was a yes and no kind of a letter. And the editor got back to me and she said, well, HarperCollins is closing.
Oh.
I'm moving to, I will not name the other publishing company because She told
but
me
it was not a TV company.
Well,
Maybe.
Anyway,
could be. Yeah.
It is very interesting. So I'm in the process of waiting that out.
All right. Who's going to play you? That's what I want to know. Who's going to play you
I had
on
a
the
couple
show?
people ask me, and I said Cary Grant, right off the
There
bat.
you go.
That's right. Yes.
Obviously,
Yeah.
There's got to be the young you, then the medium young
Well,
you.
that's actually, it's got to
true.
be 5 different people.
The medium old you, the kind of old you.
But that's not my story.
Right.
Just so you guys know.
Good story.
But that just happened like 5 minutes before I called you. The agent called me up and said, they want to do this as a TV series.
Great.
And I went,
That's
pretty cool.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
that's a very
And if
interesting.
anybody wants it, right now I still own the rights to it.
Right.
Send me an email. Send me a private message with your email on it, and I'll send it to you. I've sent it to about 45 people now because that's what happened.
Right,
I put it up on Facebook as while I own the rights to this, and so I got a whole lot of PMs. It's a good story. I'm a good storyteller.
Right.
Now, that's not the story.
All right.
The story is last night.
Okay.
Well, let's go back a week. A week ago, guy calls me up and he says, I own the tavern. I own the Old Long Ridge Tavern, which I've played at for 45 years.
Yeah, right.
Right? And he says, I called Ira, who is the old owner, who I adore, and Hava, who I love. And he says, you're the best musician they had. Can we have lunch?
All right.
I said, sure. I'm always open. And with Diane up in the mountains, I'm really open. So I go up and I have lunch with the guy, and he's an Albanian Nazi. I don't know if any of you are Albanian, and so I apologize.
We're Nazis.
I'm Austrian.
Yeah. Well, I'm Irish.
Over the mountain.
But he was a non-likable human being. That's the way to put it. He berated his bartender in front of me, and he just met me. That's the kind of human I will not like.
Right.
And he says, we need a midweek thing which will bring people. And I said, well, okay. And he said, we pay this and da. And I said, sure, I'll do it. He said, every Wednesday in July. I said, okay. So I go up last night, and I don't know if all you guys know me or if any of you know me, but I've been doing this for a very long time, and I respect music more than anything on the planet, just for the record. I'm setting up, because I always go up early, and if it's close, I'll set up. And he comes up, and I'm half set up. He goes, no, you're playing outside.
Okay.
And I went, it's 91 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I said, no one is going to come outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him like he had, 2 heads. I'm sorry. He went, oh, okay. So I set up. I go home. I call a friend of mine and I say, this is never going to work. This is just, it's got a bad vibe from the very beginning. So I walk in, and one friend is there. Her name is Rosa Lawrence, and she is a doll. She runs the Bartlett Arboretum concerts.
Yeah, okay.
And she's very learned musical soul. And she says to me as I walk in, she goes, this isn't going to work. As I'm walking in.
Yeah, and she's spoken with you. Yeah.
And it's not the tavern. It's this white marble kind of eclectic thing stuck inside this beautiful old red barn that used to be the tavern.
Right.
I figure I'm a pro, right? I can do it. I always start with this song I wrote when I was like 17 years old called Lovely, and it's real quiet. Here's just a piece of it. I can't explain life is that I love you so. About that moment, waiter walks up to me and goes,
My guitar.
"Can you turn it down?" I was playing
You're already
quieter
too
than I've ever played in my lifetime. Because I looked at the room, I said, "This is just a train wreck waiting to happen."
Nobody.
So I said, I looked at her and said, "Sure," and I played like 5 or 6 more songs. And Rosa comes up to me. She's sitting at the bar and she goes, "Can you turn it up a little? Because I can't hear you." And I said, "No, I can't. This is what they want." And she said, "You're kidding." And I said, "No, I am not. Now I'm a professional, Ed.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish the gig. I'm going to do it, right?"
Yeah.
So Rosa comes up to me after like 2 more songs. She goes, "I can't stand this anymore. I'm leaving." And I said, "Me too." I didn't know exactly when, but I did know that, So another song goes by, and I was practicing songs that I've been trying to learn that I wrote years ago. So I just gave up on them and just started working on stuff that I wanted to work on for St. Croix in October. And so I'm playing one song that's a little louder than the others, not much. And the owner, the guy who invited me, walks up.
The Nazi.
And he goes, his name is Tony, and he's a Nazi.
Yeah.
I mean,
He goes, "No soup for you."
"No soup for you. I'll ask the questions," that kind of guy. And he comes up, he goes, "Could you turn it down a little?"
Oh.
And I smiled at him, and I went, "Sure." And I reached over to the amp, and I turned it off.
There you go.
And he goes, "That's not what I meant." I said, No.
Oh.
There's no way to make it quieter than that.
I said, "With all due respect, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for offering. But I quit." He goes, "You can't quit." I looked at him and said, "Sure I can." And he sent his other guy who's nicer to come and reason with me.
Go talk the guitar player off the ledge.
Right. And the other guy comes up, he goes, this guy's name is Victor, and he's a nicer guy. And he comes up, he goes, hey, Tony's kind of rough. I said, "It's not about Tony. I'm just not doing this. I don't do this for the money anymore. I'm comfortable. I don't, I did it for Ira. Actually.
You do it for fun. Yeah.
So they tried for a second. I said, "Just give me half the money that you told me to give me, and I'll get out of here." And so I'm leaving, and the bartender, a guy named Greg, wonderful guy,
Right.
and a beautiful receptionist named Sammy, beautiful. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "This isn't fitting. I'm leaving." And he goes, "You're the best musician we've had here. What are you doing?" I said, "It's a bad fit. I'm trying to get my ass out the door with all this shit. And I'm old. So it's not easy to carry all this shit out. I would walk in with a hand truck, a hand thing. I wasn't going to do that in the middle of a dinner. So I'm carrying the stuff out the door. And I got in the car. Well, I'm getting in my car, and I've been blessed. I leased a Jaguar. And I told this guy originally, I said, "Look," I said, "I'm very comfortable. I'm not doing this for the money. I don't care about the money. Yeah. What I care about is Ira and the tavern." And he's standing right next to me. And I'm putting the stuff in my car, and it's a leased car. I don't own it. I'm putting this stuff in the car, and he goes, "That's a Jaguar." And I looked at him, and I said, "Yeah."
The king of Armenia can't afford the Jaguar.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. The guy is all of a sudden judging me on the fucking car. Not the music. And I looked at him like, if I could have burned him right there, I would, bad human being. And so anyway, I left and I put it onto Facebook. And if any of you want to Facebook friend me, you'll see my tirade today. The first one I said was, I just did something I've never done before in my life. I just quit a gig in the middle of the first set. I said, I'm driving.
Good for you.
More to follow. And I got a bunch of people that didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Right.
And went, blah, 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 blah. So today I got up this morning and I wrote out exactly what happened, which is just what I told you guys.
Right.
And you have no idea how many musicians from my past, Jay Stolman,
right.
Andy Abel, this guy Mark Lampert, none of you would know, but you know, so many good musicians who have played with me said, "Don't take that shit," you know, and I didn't need that, but at the same time, it's comforting to know that we're still a group of people. And Ed, I give you the most credit. You keep this thing alive. Now, you told Ray Simonelli that the Magic Five, he booked me for a gig.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I knew it.
He says it's a good venue.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that story because
that's a great story. I love that story. I love any story. Like you, one thing I love about you, you don't take any fucking bullshit. Like you're because a lot of people don't have the nerve. A lot of people are like,
I'm older than all of you guys.
My reputation.
Hold it. Hold it.
Right.
Dave.
Dave.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
The last time I remember you on here, we had a talk about age. So, Dave, how old are you?
You're asking me now?
How old are you, my friend?
I'm 70 years old.
Okay, we're the same age.
Okay. I just turned 70.
That's old. I didn't even know you guys knew how to work computers. How'd you even get on the show? How'd you even do that?
You guys look fucking
Thank you.
An hour and a half in the pool every day.
Love you,
That's how I
Dave.
do it.
Look. Love you, my brother.
That's the way you look the way I want to look.
And you're not old. You're not old, damn it.
God gave me a gift.
I know that.
And,
I know that. But you're not old, brother. You're not old. You're not old.
No. I could have said
pissed off.
I could have said I'm 69.
I don't blame you.
I could have said I'm 69.
There you go.
Right.
And you might have, or the other guys might have gone, okay, 70 years old.
I look really good for 80.
There you go.
You can see the lighting. I can see the lighting from here.
No, the lighting is interesting.
Well, the lighting is dark, so I could get it. Maybe you could see me better if I pushed up shit. But
that's what you're doing.
Really
I was 58 for 2 years. The last 2 years, I turned 57. And I made a mistake, and I thought I was 58. So I told everybody I was 58. Then a year later, like I didn't know for a year, I was like, I'm 58. And then I turned 58, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I counted up, like, is it? You skip the 0 or the 1 or the like?
No. Cool. I don't know what happened, but our computer went down, and somehow I got on silver singles.
Oh wow!
This is a riot.
Wow!
Right? Now,
so
I didn't do anything, and all of a sudden I've got like 25 women.
Oh shit!
That are going, but they won't show me their picture.
No.
They tell me their whole story, but the picture is blocked. Now,
because they're North Korean, they're trying to steal your money and your Jaguar.
$89, you can see these women.
I still like your music. Yeah.
First of all, I'm married. Second of all, even if she doesn't like me, she'll kill me.
Right?
So quickly.
Play Misty for me. Yeah, I saw that movie.
Exactly. Well, that's right.
That's funny. So anyway, my stories have rambled here, but I'm by myself because she's up with her parents, and I've been away too long. But anyway, I will sing you one song.
Yeah, do a song. Come on.
All right.
I could talk all night.
Me too. We were just talking about it, like why we're even keeping the show going. It's just like it's for our own personal joy. The people are kind enough to watch the show, and
Well, you get a lot of views.
We do get a lot of views, you know. And
I've looked at it. You get a lot of views, you know.
Yeah,
and anytime I got out of the studio about an hour and a half ago,
right?
And I went to Polici's to get a sandwich, you know, and the guy who's the bartender is a good friend, and we're talking, and this other guy sitting there, and he starts interjecting in the story. And he starts telling his story. And the next thing I know, we're swapping stories. And he says, "Can I get your name?" And I said, "Sure." So I give him my name. I get in the car and he friended me.
Okay.
On Facebook. And I went, "That's cool."
That's what you do. Yeah.
So I accepted it. So if you ever are in a situation where you can share or engage or help, just do it, because you know, the alternative is not to do it, and
exactly
that to me is sacrilege.
And that's what happened. Like so I was feeling this, like the pandemic was ending, and we used to do 4-hour shows, and there were like literally people on every show.
The pandemic was there, so you were king.
Captive audience, right? And then I started went down. So then we had 20 people on the show, and I was like, "Oh, it's over." And then it's like 10, and then it's like 8, and I'm like, "Why are we even doing?" There was one night it was me and Randy. Like, Will, you were probably there. I think it was before your time, Dave. And it was Randy, and it was Bill Nolan, and 4 guys. And I was like, "Why are we like? Do we still want to do this?" Like, I'm just feeling like it's getting smaller.
I heard you're not in Connecticut anymore.
I go back and forth. I'm back and forth. Like tomorrow, I'm playing on Greenwich Avenue at Commons Park from 5 to 7. Shameless plug. And
nice.
No. Who are you playing with?
I'm playing with Frank Rogers and the Sound Cats. I'm one of the Sound Cats, ironically.
And where's the?
It's if you're going down Greenwich Avenue,
right,
you get almost to the bottom. You're kind of in the middle of Greenwich Avenue,
by the train station.
Not that far down, and on the right there's a.
Yeah, there's a little park over there.
Yeah, Commons Park, and I'm playing at Commons Park.
You playing there from 5 to 7?
Yeah, come by.
I might. I swear to God, I got. My wife's not here. I can do whatever I want. If I meet a woman, I'm gonna do.
Oh my God!
You can be the billionaire. That's another story.
No, Silver Singles. That's the place to go.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
God only knows what you'll find.
I do that. I'm gonna go. Cool. I've never heard Wendy May play.
Yeah.
I've never heard her, and I see her name all the time.
Right.
And Ray, you gave me Ray's name name for the Magic 5, because I'm trying to solo out,
right,
which I haven't done in 35 years. And he was nice enough to give me a gig. That's cool. But I always wanted to hear her play, because she seems like, well, first of all, she's a beautiful girl, and so tomorrow I've got a session at 5. She starts at 8. I'm sure I can drive up there and see it.
There it is.
I got nothing to do. You know what I mean?
There it is.
So I'm going to do that. And
speaking of nothing to do,
holy shit,
Randy! I'm supposed to sing a song.
Who's that?
Good for nothing. Good for nothing.
Randy.
Hey,
boys.
I said your name 3 times in a row, and you appeared. You know.
Yeah.
So you guys are getting tired of my stories? Is that what you're saying? I hate this thing.
Randy, so I was just telling the story about how it was like you, me, and Bill, and maybe Will bear it on the screen, and I went like, "It's episode 94. Do we keep doing it?" Randy was like, "No, you got to keep the show going."
Absolutely. No, if the only reason I'm never here, I'm never home.
Hey, Randy, how you doing?
And not here. If I'm not here, that means I'm out to dinner, I'm practicing, or I'm gigging. But if I'm home, I just got home from dinner. As a matter of fact, a nice dinner with, couples dinner. And here I am.
There you go. Good to see you.
Go.
So Dave Gunham, sing a song, and then we will.
I'm just gonna. I don't think I've ever played this one, and I'm trying to find them. First year I was in St. Croix, 45 years ago, was one of the worst years of my life. I never had an anxiety attack before, and I'd never hurt anybody before.
Okay.
And right before I left, I was with a girl that I'd been with for quite a while, and she was a fashion kind of a plate kind of a girl, and I really didn't like her all that much. And so, anyway, I got in a fight with her. I was sleeping with another girl. She walked in. She caught us. And I've never hurt anybody before in my whole life, like face on hurt. And so I was at the Colony Grill, and like we were leaving for St. Croix in like 3 days, our first trip. And I'm sitting in the Colony Grill, which is home for me. All of a sudden I couldn't breathe. And I had a terrible anxiety attack. Didn't know what it was, thought I was dying. Got down to St. Croix, first time, and went, can't possibly happen here. This is amazing. This is beautiful. Mm-hmm. But it did. So I had a terrible, terrible first year. Now, let's fast forward 45 years.
Okay.
I'm going down in October for the whole year. So obviously this song is meaningless. Except it's not. It says it's in tune. There's a house on the edge of this island, looks out on the sea. But a darkness hides the dawn from here on the island. There is a storm on the edge of the water, pouring into land. Soon it will be gone. As always, I'll go on. It's just another day here on the island. There's good ways that we waste our time, so I have been told. Just another day here on the island. It's warm and easy, but it's a dark Saturday in this Crucian town. We'll drink it till the storm ends up with the young boys and the old timers, me and my friends. Good times and sweet dreams. Always gonna go you too fast. Oh no, once I had me a girl in the States. I couldn't make it last. It's just another day here on the island. Good ways that we waste our time, so I have been told. It's another day here on the island. It's warm and it's easy. It's easy. Whoa, if you're ever gonna pray for someone, don't bother to bend your knees for me. 'Cause I wouldn't be praying for you. I'm alone, but I don't want to be lonely. It's best if you just go with your heart in your hand. Maybe I don't care, I know you're gonna do what you wanna do anyway, baby. Why should I care? No. I'll stay here on this island. It's safe and it's warm and it's me. Your kind made me lonely and I don't want to be lonely. Day after day we stay, we all stay. It's just another day here on the island. And if we waste it, let us go. Let us go. Oh, it's just another day here on the island. It's warm and easy. So why am I lonely? Why am I blue? Why am I cold? Why am I cold? Just another day here on the island. Just another day here on the island. Just another day. Just another day. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you, guys. I don't think I've ever done that one on your show.
No, that's a great one.
Well, it's an anthem down there.
Here's
It's
Dave.
another Dave. He's out in Amish country. I have a
Exactly.
feeling.
Multi-Daves. Yeah, multi-Daves. Very cool.
That was great. Dave got up super.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll stick around. You know, if somebody else wants to do so. I've been occupying your time for probably half an hour now.
No, that's awesome. Wait, Dave Platt, aren't you supposed to be down in Amish country, or was that an old post that I saw?
No. So I'm a bachelor this weekend. Sherry's down there hanging out with her parents and her brother and her
I see.
niece. I got to work tomorrow, and I got a gig tomorrow afternoon. And
Where are you playing tomorrow afternoon?
Monroe Farmers Market is pickle.
All right.
So
The pickle show.
What time is that at Monroe's Farmers Market?
Sounds like a barn burner to me.
three to
I'm
six.
sorry. I'm not playing tomorrow, so I got nothing.
Yeah, Dave Gunn's gonna go like hopping. He's got
Yeah,
a gig that he's gonna,
I'll go. Well, I'm gonna go see you on Friday night, I think.
There you go.
Well, that's tomorrow night.
This tomorrow night. I'm playing
That's
from
right.
5 to 7 on Greenwich Avenue at Commons Park
Okay.
with the Soundcats. And
I'm singing this. I'm singing a vocal of 3, so maybe you know. You
I
never
got
know
my-
with John.
I got my fingers crossed that it's not going to
For the
hail
weather.
and blow and be
Yeah.
miserable.
Well, you
tomorrow.
know what?
These
I was
summer
doing the
gigs.
Sunset Grill a lot.
Yeah.
My daughter books it, but she hates me now, so I'm not doing it anymore.
Oh,
Why does she hate you now?
It's too long a story.
Okay.
By the book. By the book.
She will stop
book.
hating me the minute I move back to St. Croix, because she loves St. Croix more than she loves here. And then she'll go, "Oh, Dad, Dad, you know," and I'm going to go, "Not this year. Nope, not happening."
There it is.
So we'll see how that one goes. But anyway, she's booking the Sunset, and she decided that I was, I don't know. And I just went, you know, Sunset's not a. Have any of you guys played the Sunset Grill?
I played there 500 times.
Yeah.
I played there like
So you're
every
playing
week,
in a
twice
parking
week.
lot, you know, essentially, and you might get 30 people that are listening, and the rest of them could give a shit.
Randy's
Randy.
muted.
Oh,
Randy.
muted.
Randy,
Sorry.
here you go.
I
All
saw
right,
you,
Randy,
Randy,
whatever
I saw
you-
you were playing there.
Was that you or me who muted me, Ed?
I muted you. I'm not wearing my
Son of a
glasses.
bitch. You vile
That's okay.
son
Yeah,
of a
that's-
bitch.
That's the
Really?
third
You
time
know-
that's happened accidentally. Yeah, there's
Dave,
something.
Dave
going
I'm
on
sorry.
here.
Dave, got
I
it.
smell something.
Is
Yeah.
your daughter? She does the booking at Sunset.
Yeah, Kate.
Okay,
That's my daughter, Kate. She's
gotcha.
an amazing singer and an amazing talent, and she grew up on St. Croix. Except she's coming down next year, and we got into this huge fight because I tried to get her off my phone bill.
That'll
because
do
she's
it.
26,
Yeah.
and I said, "You got to get off the phone bill." And all of a sudden, I was the devil
Yeah,
walking
yeah,
around.
yeah.
You know,
Trying to
the old
teach this
phone
child to
thing.
grow up while all the people around her, aunts and everything, are over entitling her. Too long a story, but I'm no longer playing at the Sunset Grill.
I was there on 4th of July, and I'll be there July 22nd with Holly McCreary.
Right, I'm not allowed to come.
Well,
There you
come
go.
put your car in the parking lot and come sit in the parking lot. And
Well, I can sit in the parking lot. I went and sang with Jimmy Arrow the
I was
other
joking.
night, and my wife called up and said, "Kate's freaking out. You're harassing her."
Yeah, but
And I went, "I'm sorry."
She's my daughter.
Well, it's not just that. I didn't even know if she was working. Jimmy asked me to come and sing. Jimmy, you know Jimmy Arrow, right? Great talent. Amazing singer, great talent. I went and sang 2 songs and I went home. I wake up the next morning to my wife going, you got to stop harassing Kate. And I went, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, excuse me, but that's exactly what I said. And she said, she just, you know, and I went, you're taking Kate and trusting Kate. This girl has been through more shit that I have pulled her out of than I care to tell you. But I am a father.
There it is.
I'll be cool.
You signed up for that.
I don't go to the Sunset Grill anymore. I said, I'll just make it one more place I can't go. So I can't come see you. Or actually, I could come see you, but I have to be very quiet and sit, like you said, get my drink and sit in the parking lot.
Yeah, wear like a hat or like a disguise of some sort.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, even though it's a shitty gig, I mean, as far as listening goes, it's a good gig to play because you can play as loud as you want. You can play anything you want. And anybody who cares to listen will. So that's all you can ask of any gig as far as I'm concerned.
I'm like a dog. All I heard was blah, 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 but will. Yeah. I was like, oh, me? No, didn't the Sunset Grill have a fire like 10 years ago? And
they probably had a fire pit right by where the
but not a massive fire.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Oh, no.
That was something else.
By the way, if I disappear, then you guys finish the show. Like, just keep talking until it stops.
Hey, what's the problem?
Because I'm listening to the thunderstorm that's going over my head right now. I'm like,
are you here or are you in?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania, the mountains, and there's a raging thunderstorm. The rain and the wind. It's like,
well, you told me
that's the shit that's going to ruin all our gigs tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Float up.
Yeah,
that shit's going to come up here and ruin all our gigs tomorrow. Yeah. I'm actually at Ripka's tomorrow night, which is just over the fence from Sunset Grill,
right.
and what may be the last B-side performance ever. So,
wow, what time is that?
5:30.
5:30 until what?
8:30 probably.
Oh, see, I'm playing 5 to 7.
And where is that?
No, I'm not playing because of the thunderstorm.
I'm asking him.
I'm at Ripka's, which is just over the fence from Sunset Grill in Cap Pasture.
Oh, but you need a pass to get in.
Yeah, but you just go in and price. They're not really. They're not super Nazi on it.
For Ripka's, they're kind of cool, I think. Yeah.
And you're playing there from when?
If I'm playing there tomorrow, 5:30 to 8:30. B-side band, a band I've been in for 10 years. Looks like we're going on a long ass hiatus. What we might call a medically induced coma.
Okay.
Which I'm actually not happy about. I'm very upset about it.
Wow. And if you were Dave Gunnett, you would tell us the story.
No, I have stories of go-go.
Sound like a tellable story.
So, in second grade,
once upon a time there were 3 bears. Yeah,
that's right.
There was minding my own business.
Anyway, I will leave because I've overstayed my welcome.
You don't have to leave. You can hang out.
You had some good. There was some good
just
stories.
The shit, waiting for it to end. That's all.
You know what I like. The best thing you said, Dave, was like the truth of life that no one ever told me until I learned it the hard way, which is if shit seems weird at the beginning, it's only going to get weirder as you proceed further.
And how?
And if you especially, you guys aren't friends of mine on Facebook, but I'm very protective of music. Any music. I mean, I'm a songwriter, and I've spent my life as a songwriter, and I've traveled with some amazing people, and I've done an amazing. I've been lucky, and I got to do it with my wife and my brother, and we got to do it. But music is precious to me, and anytime it's disrespected. It's like my dad was a very Irish drunk, but he was a great guy. And he said, anytime anybody disrespects a woman, you got to stand up and you got to get in it. And I got in front of Steve Stills one night, and I never met him. We were opening at the Pier, and we all went back to CBGB's before anybody came in. It was like 10 o'clock. And I idolized Steve Stills. I thought he was a genius. because he was. He wrote all the
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
songwriting.
And I'm sitting, seriously, swear to God, I'm sitting with Graham Nash, me, David Crosby, and a guy named Mike Finnegan, who was about to do our album. He's the greatest Hammond B3 organist of all time. He's played with everybody. He passed away recently. But
and Dave, by the way, he still needs his money from the gigs from Electric Ladyland.
yeah.
I know, bro.
Oh, wow.
I
You
know.
do know him.
Of course I know.
Yeah. Not many people will, because he's a background guy, but he's the biggest background guy of all time.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting next to Graham Nash. Now, I haven't met these guys at all. We played, we opened, and we all went back. And Mike Finnegan was our tie. He was about to produce our album. He said, we're all going back to CBGB's. Come on back. And I went back, and I'm sitting with these people that I have idolized my whole life. Steve Stills, though, was, to me, the god. He was the great writer, and I'm a writer. And so, I'm sitting with Graham Nash, and I'm talking to him. And I said, where's Steve Stills? And he goes, Steve's an asshole. I don't use that word often. In fact, never, unless I'm quoting. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, he's a really bad human being, which is the thing that I would say. And I went, man, that can't be. And and about 10 minutes later, and every one of these guys had a bodyguard, but they weren't bodyguards. They were the guys who held their cocaine and gave them just enough so that they didn't screw up.
Yeah, get into trouble. Yeah.
David Crosby. But so in walks Stephen Stills. Swear to God, this is a true story. And there's only about 12 of us in the bar. And this beautiful little girl comes over, and he's sitting at a table with this big black bodyguard guy. And he goes, oh, but I didn't even hear him. But she brings the drink, and
911 again.
He starts berating her. This isn't what I asked for, God damn it, but he's loud and he's obnoxious. And I idolize this guy, and I've never met him before. She brings another drink back, and he goes, there's too much ice in there, or something like that. And she went back again, and I said, you guys don't know my dad, but he taught me well. I went, excuse me. And I got up, and I walked over, because he was far away from the rest of us, like 30 feet. I walked over and I said, excuse me, sir. I'm David Gunnup. We opened.
Shit.
Oh no, we're not going to hear that.
Yeah.
I thought I did it. I just did something with my screen, and suddenly it happened. I was like,
Dave Gunnup disappears. Maybe he'll come back. He's got the spinning wheel of death. Oh no!
Exactly.
So
We were just getting to the payoff.
Hey kids, listen up here. Why you gotta go have adventures?
the wheel of death.
Do we think it involved a lost wallet?
You know what's really funny? Yes, he's still talking. He doesn't know.
That's right. He doesn't know. Yeah, he's probably telling the rest of the story.
Maybe I'll do this, and maybe that'll.
Everything he's talking about with Stephen Stills is true, but right now he's being punished.
Okay. He is.
He's
No,
we lost him.
Where the hell did he go?
Yeah.
No, but it was at that right moment. So I said, excuse me, sir.
Exactly, Randy. Exactly.
Maybe he'll make it back on. Maybe he'll try to get back in.
Holy
internet.
shit.
I was waiting for my internet to go down. Like it is raging storm
Is it really?
right now.
Yeah, that'll be heading our way.
Yeah, we got like a weather. This is like a ham radio weather. Wait, Randy, aren't you a ham radio guy? You are, aren't you? This is like a ham radio show. It's like
I hang my head. Yes, I am licensed as WA1NCK. Yes.
There you go.
I know Morse code. I know it all. Yes.
You got the wires running across your yard in between all the trees.
No, I have the fucking license plate with the lightning bolt on it with my call sign. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
so
not
like-
kidding. I really do.
No, I just
Everyone
realized
can-
we got guys
everyone can-
all over. We got like California and Connecticut,
Yes.
Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. You know.
Everyone can claim geekdom until there's like a badass storm, and suddenly you're a hero because
Oh yeah. Oh God. When there was.
the press
And
is
now,
like, oh,
back to our regularly scheduled programming.
go.
What is that, Dennis?
Dennis,
Dennis, what is that?
Yeah,
It's a
good lord.
Lingo dual
What
band.
is that?
Now
Is
he's
that
muted.
is that
You're
like a
muted.
2 meter?
Unmute your phone, or whatever that is.
2
Dave
meters.
Gunn, unmute.
But Dennis Allred, is that like a 2 meter thing?
Yes.
Dave, you're muted.
Am I muted? I'm not.
What do you got there?
No, Dennis, we got you. You're in.
Single
It's,
sideband
Dave.
radio?
We're losing Dave.
It's
Yeah.
a Linko.
Dennis, what was it?
500.
What's the radio?
It's a dual band.
It really? Okay, like 6 meter, 2 meter.
Band,
But-
2 meter and 5, and then you.
Excuse me for a minute, Ed Train. You're gonna
Kind of-
fucking wish that we were talking about bass strings in the 2 minutes.
I was gonna say, Dennis, does the
cannot
antenna use a
get
flat
aircraft
round or a round
Yeah,
round?
no. If we go down the ham radio
Dave, you're
wormhole, this is
muted.
going to be a
Dave,
motherfucker.
All right, everybody be quiet. Dave Gunnup, you are muted. You have to unmute your microphone. I can't do it.
My battery's completely dead on this. one.
However you
Find
do it,
another
you
one.
do. You
I
figure it out.
forget.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can
the
you hear
ham
me now?
radio stuff is very cool. I had an HF radio on the Chipper B before it sank. You know,
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
yeah.
There's another hour here.
talk to the world from there,
Oh,
but
shit.
I didn't have the
He was
license.
just unmuted. Dave, what did he do?
Dave is
Yeah,
muted.
He was just there.
Can you
go.
hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, we got him.
This
All right.
is the one
So
that-
Dave got it. To be clear, when we last left you, you
Yeah.
said you went over to the guy and you said, "Excuse me, sir,"
Right.
and then you went dead. So pick it up
Yes.
from there.
So you can hear me now.
Yes.
Because what it's
We got
saying
you.
now is mute.
Yeah, you're good.
Just so you know. Okay. So I get up from these guys, and these are 3 guys that I have no business sitting at the same bar with. I'm a kid. I'm new. I walk over to Steve Stills and Idol, and I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said, "You just really tore that young lady up." You
Yeah.
know, and that's just not right. And he said, "Who the hell are you?" And this is an idol of mine. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And I went, "Well, I opened for you guys tonight, and I know that doesn't matter much, but my dad taught me a long time ago that you don't treat women badly. I mean,
Right.
that's the way I was brought up." And he goes, "Get the hell out of here." And that's when you guys don't know me really well. I have this second gear that kicks in because I grew up in the Cove and I was really poor. And I've been in about 500 fights in my life. Won some, lost some, but I turned to him and I get this look that when I'm really pissed. And I looked at him and I said, "Well, sir, with all due respect, you and I aren't leaving here until you apologize to her." And he turned to this big black bodyguard, about
His
6'4",
handler. Yeah.
and he said, "Steve, get this guy out of here." Guy's name was Steve. I'll never forget that. And Steve goes, "Steven, he right." And Steve Stills froze because I looked at the bodyguard who was behind him and he winked at me. He obviously has been with Steven Stills a long time because he had the right to do that. Or he didn't fire too. I got fired the next day, just so we're clear. But I said, "Well, now that we're past that, I think you have to apologize to this young lady." And I said, "Miss, could you come over here, please?" I didn't even ask you. I said, "Can you come over here, please?" And she walked over and I said, "Mr. Stills would like to talk to you." And he goes, okay. Listen, I'm sorry. I said, no, that's not an apology. Look at her and tell her you're sorry. I'm Irish. You don't treat women, especially young women, badly. I mean, I should rephrase that. You don't treat older women badly either, but he went. I looked right at him, and I have this look that is scary. I've been told, and I looked right at him like I was going to take him right out right there, and he went, "Young lady, I was probably rude, and I apologize." And I looked right at him. This is an idol of mine that I had never met.
Right.
And I went, "Was that so hard? That's so hard." And I looked at the bodyguard, and I winked back at him. And he smiled because Stephen Stills couldn't see him. I turned and walked back to the bar, and I sat down right next to Graham Nash. Mm-hmm. And Graham Nash goes, "I've never seen anybody do that before in my life." I said, "Well, you have now." Next day, the agent called and said, "You're not doing the next show at the Pier." And I went,
"Okay."
Yeah, big surprise. Yeah.
It's a good story.
Well, the key to life,
is that story in your G-rated version of your book?
Well, no, wait. That's the other thing I wanted to tell you. The editor calls back and she goes, "Okay, this is the G-rated version for your grandchildren, right?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you have an M or an R-rated version?" And I said, "Sweetheart, the M and R-rated versions are way better than what you're reading. Except I wrote this for my grandchildren." She texts me back and goes, "Can we get one story from that thing just so we can understand?" You guys have 2 more minutes?
All right. We do.
We're playing at this club at the Grandstand Play. Me and Mike Holloman. Mike Holloman's one of the best drummers, Texas guy, singer. And there's 2 girls and this guy in the bar, beautiful girls. And we finished the gig, and there's this yacht out in the harbor. It's like a 140-foot yacht. And you don't see these a lot in St. Croix. And they told us, one's the chef and one's the manager, and the other guy's the captain. We go back to the yacht with them, me and Mike. And he ends up in the bedroom with the chef. And I end up in her room with the manager. Now, it's 7 o'clock in the morning at this point or something. Now, they expected the owner to show up at like 4:30, except he showed up at like 10:30. And he walks in and he goes, "What the fuck is going on here?" Because Michael is in, and the backboard of this bedroom was the New York skyline. I swear to God, it was like sick. Anyway, we heard that, and my girlfriend at the time said, "You got to get out of here." And I'm naked as a jaybird, so is Michael. We grab our clothes and we dive off the boat, right? And we are swimming, and thank God that the current in St. Croix runs to the water, because we ended up going to the water. And the next day we see them both in the club, and they said, "We've both been fired." And I felt terrible. I said, I can get you a job, And I went to 2 or 3 of the restaurants, and these girls are beautiful, and they're also good at what they do, and they got jobs very quickly. And they stayed for a couple months, and then they rehooked up with the same guy because he rethought it. And I got a letter. These were 4 texts, I got a letter from the girl that I was engaged with, and she said it all worked out. We're working on the boat again. Good. It was called the Night Crossing. That was the name of the boat. And I sent this story to this girl. Said, "Name one story." And all I could say when I wrote is, the 2 of us are diving off the boat naked with our underwear hanging on our hands, and we're swimming back to shore. And she goes, "This is going to work. I can see this working." So we'll see how it goes. I don't know how it's going to go.
And Dave, do you have video footage of this or some?
Oh, yes. Go on tape. Go on tape.
A little
I could be
GoPro
making
on his
it-
head, like.
David, I could be making this shit up right now. Unless, of course, I don't have that quick a mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've wasted an hour with me.
There you go.
Although
man.
I am
With great joy.
I am
Yeah.
very
Yeah, with
grateful
great joy.
because last night really pissed me off,
Oh,
Yeah,
And-
well,
yeah.
and I got to sing here on the island as
Mhm.
loud as I wanted to,
Mhm.
and that is because there are people like you that understand.
right.
So I will humbly. I don't know how to get off here, but I will.
There you go.
I will
Hey,
leave-
But don't
Everybody-
worry, Ed's going to do it for us.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you
yeah.
go. I'm going to end the show. The show's over. The
Oh,
JMTV
so
is
it's all
over.
just me. So I'm,
Everybody go around. Everybody go around and plug your gigs. Randy Stone, where are you playing?
Tomorrow night at Ripka's in Calf Pasture. Saturday night at the Wakabuck Country Club in Westchester.
Fancy joint.
Is that
Playing
right?
outside there? By the
We'll
lake?
see.
Yeah, that's nice.
But they do treat us right. They treat us very well.
That's very good. Will Baird, where are you playing? You got to get
I'm playing at
gigs
every farmer's market in the next 7 days in the city of Newton, Massachusetts. I think it's 5.
Gabe Platt, where are you playing?
Tomorrow, Monroe Alter Ego Trio, 3 to 6. The Monroe Farmers Market is Pickle Fest.
Good.
The Pickle Fest. I love
Give me
it.
a pickle. That sounds good. Who else? Who else? Dave Gunnup, where are you playing?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
I might play Saturday at La Vista, but I told the guy, I said, I don't think I can pull anybody.
Are you kidding me? Your wife is away. You're playing everywhere.
Well, I'm playing as a solo, and I'm not as good as we are as a duo.
Good stuff. And I'm at the bottom of Greenwich Avenue, Commons Park tomorrow with
I'm probably going to, that's tomorrow night.
Soundcat, 5 to 7, early gig, 5 to 7. Then you got to go to Ripka's. But let's see if the weather holds. Let's see.
Where's Ripkins?
Ripka's at Cat Pasture in Norwalk.
Oh, so I can sneak in is what
You
you're
can
saying.
sneak in there. Yeah, absolutely.
What time
See your
are you playing?
rollerblades. Sounds good. I'll see you all at JMTV, show 152. Great to see you. Dave Gunnup, fantastic. Randy,
Okay, never mind.
Dennis, David,
All right,
David,
Thank you, guys.
David, and David, and Will Baird.
Yes.
Have a good one.